Hey everyone! Welcome to Anime Dreams, where fanfic ideas come to life. Today's exciting topic is: what if Naruto became the harem king of DxD? Disclaimer: all content on this channel is purely for entertainment and discussion purposes. I do not own any of the anime or footage used in my videos. All rights belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Alright, let's jump into this crazy mashup. Well, it looks like it actually worked, exclaimed a smiling teen as he gazed out at the city below. The young man appeared to be around 17 years old, standing tall at 6 feet, with lean, compact muscles designed for speed and agility. He wore a form-fitting, short-sleeved black shirt tucked into black shinobi pants, which were wrapped at the ankles. Over his shirt, he donned a sleeveless, crimson-red trench coat adorned with a rust-orange spiral, bearing the kanji for sage at its center. His worn black ninja sandals suggested they'd been through numerous battles. His bright blue eyes glimmered even in the dim night, reflecting the faint moonlight that managed to slip through the clouds. His face, chiseled and free of any blemishes, gave him the appearance of someone with royal lineage. In contrast, his long, dark crimson hair hung messily around his shoulders, with only a black headband holding it back. A metal plate on the headband, partially hidden by his hair, bore a leaf symbol. This teen was Naruto Uzumaki, hero of the Fourth Shinobi World War, bearer of the Uzumaki bloodline, and former host of the Nine-Tailed Fox. After his battle with Pain, Nagato, where the latter revived everyone he had killed, Naruto realized just how much he had relied on external powers. Though Sage Mode and the power of the Nine Tails made him formidable, Naruto felt a deep desire to grow beyond them. His predecessors, like Jiraiya, the first Hokage, and his own father, had achieved greatness through their sheer skills and determination. Each carved their own path into history without relying on external help. Inspired by this realization, Naruto secluded himself at Mount Myaboku, dedicating himself to mastering every aspect of shinobi life. Using the Shadow Clone Jutsu and his extraordinary stamina, Naruto quickly caught up on the basics that had been neglected during his training as a Jinchuriki. In just a month, he began to master ninjutsu, with his immense chakra reserves allowing him to perform high-level jutsu with ease, surpassing even his mentors. He also developed his own fighting style, called the Otomono no Shikata, Way of the Joker. This style took advantage of his natural unpredictability and ability to think on the fly. The first stage focused on observing and countering his opponent's style, while the second unleashed his vast chakra reserves in an onslaught of ninjutsu. The final stage combined both, along with his mastery of the Shadow Clone Jutsu, allowing him to overwhelm enemies as a one-man army. Naruto then focused on strengthening his other abilities, like swordsmanship. Inspired by his mother, who had been a master swordswoman, Naruto embraced the art, mastering the basics of kenjutsu in no time. He eventually developed his own unique style, Izumono no Shikata, Way of the Trickster, which mirrored the principles of his taijutsu style. During this time, Naruto also met a fragment of his mother's soul within the Nine-Tails seal. She revealed the legacy of the Uzumaki clan, and Naruto vowed to restore their honor. This awakening unlocked his Uzumaki heritage, transforming his once blonde hair into the clan's signature crimson, though his remained darker and more vibrant. His piercing blue eyes, however, stayed the same, something his mother said suited him perfectly. Before parting, his mother revealed that both she and his father had left behind scrolls filled with jutsus and letters in a sealing tattoo on his right shoulder. The contents of the scrolls left Naruto both amazed and determined to live up to his lineage. A scroll held his mother's personal okatana, along with another that outlined the fundamentals of her distinctive sword style, named Benihime, Crimson Princess. From his father, he inherited a scroll detailing the Hiraishin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God technique, the signature technique for which he was known. Both parents left him heartfelt letters expressing their deep love and remorse for the difficult choices they had made. His father, in particular, conveyed his deep regret for deciding to seal the kyubi within him. In addition, they had left a large scroll containing several smaller ones, each holding techniques from various elemental jutsu, as well as advanced Jikuken, space-time, techniques and detailed Fuin Jutsu, sealing techniques. Within a month, he had mastered his mother's kenjutsu style, blending it seamlessly with his own. He also perfected the Hiraishin to the point of no longer requiring markers, achieved a level of proficiency in sealing arts comparable to the legendary Mido Uzumaki, and amassed an arsenal of jutsu that far surpassed even the renowned ninjutsu expertise of both Kakashi and the third Hokage. Over those months, his strength evolved from that of a standard chunin to that of legends like Hanzo the Salamander and Nagato, both said to be capable of battling the Ichibi, Nibi, and Sanbi. With the addition of Sage Mode or the Kyubi's power, he could easily rival the strength of the Rakubi or Nanabi. By the end of the month, Tsunade informed Naruto about the upcoming Cage Summit in Tetsu no Kuni, Land of Iron. The summit would determine how the hidden villages would address the growing threat of Akatsuki. She specifically requested Naruto to accompany her as a bodyguard. Her reasoning was twofold: she recognized the advancements in his training, and having the man who had defeated Pain by her side would give her an advantage in the discussions. Initially, Naruto declined, wanting to continue his training to grow stronger. However, Tsunade persuaded him by offering him a position in the Anbu, not only for the mission but as a permanent role upon their return to the village. Knowing that joining the Anbu would also promote him to Jounin, Naruto quickly accepted the offer. On their way to the summit, they encountered Mei Terumi, the current Mizukage. Noticing Naruto's masked appearance, Mei questioned why Tsunade had only brought one Anbu operative. Naruto remained silent, concealing his identity, while Tsunade confidently assured Mei that he was more than capable of protecting her. Despite the secrecy, the two groups decided to travel together for the remainder of the journey. Later, they crossed paths with Gaara, who was accompanied by his siblings. Gaara, upon recognizing the masked figure, smiled, an act that stunned everyone present. Naruto gave a simple nod in return, which further surprised Mei and her companions, as this was more acknowledgement than they had received from him during their travels. Upon reaching Tetsu no Kuni, the group was led to the meeting place where they met the other Kages, along with Mifune, leader of Tetsu and commander of its samurai forces. Mifune informed them that no weapons were allowed inside the meeting room, and any use of chakra, regardless of size, was prohibited. He also instructed Tsunade's bodyguard to unmask and remove his robe to ensure he wasn't hiding anything. In a dramatic reveal, Naruto complied, grinning and shocking everyone who recognized him. Mei immediately understood why Tsunade had chosen him as her sole bodyguard. If Naruto could defeat Pain, the man who had overthrown Hanzo, he was certainly capable of facing any potential threats in the room. Both Mei and Gaara were further surprised when they noticed Naruto's red hair, having previously believed the hero of Konoha to be blonde. Naruto explained that he had unlocked his Uzumaki heritage, which caused unease among the Raikage and Tsuchikage. While they knew of his Uzumaki lineage, they had assumed his father's genes had overshadowed it. The realization that the bloodline of the Uzumaki clan, once powerful enough to warrant the combined forces of three major villages to bring down, was now active in someone as powerful as Naruto was unsettling. The fact that this individual had also defeated Pain, trained under Jiraiya and Kakashi, and was the son of the infamous Yellow Flash only deepened their concerns. As expected, the summit was filled with disputes among the Kages. Mei and Gaara attempted to contribute, but their efforts were quickly dismissed by the Raikage, and the elderly Tsuchikage, Aniki. Tsunade, on the other hand, remained composed, watching them argue with her hands steepled and eyes closed. After a particularly loud outburst from which nearly broke the table, the room fell into a tense silence. Seizing the opportunity, Tsunade spoke up, asking, "Are you done behaving like children?" This remark infuriated both the Raikage and Tsuchikage, but before they could respond, Tsunade presented her plan for uniting all the villages, both major and minor, to defeat the Akatsuki threat. Before a debate could ensue, the meeting was interrupted by the sudden arrival of Tobi and Sasuke Uchiha. Tobi began to unveil his Eye of the Moon plan, speaking with the fervor of a madman. However, before he could finish, a sandal struck his face, sending him flying out of the room. Before Sasuke could react, he found himself on the ground, a foot pressed against his windpipe, cutting off his air. The Kages looked up in astonishment to see Naruto bowing and apologizing for his rudeness, explaining that he had no patience for villains who monologued. A furious Tobi re-entered the room, only to be met with a punch that sent him flying through the wall once again. Tobi, baffled, questioned how Naruto was able to harm him despite his Sharingan's ability to make him intangible. At that moment, Naruto appeared behind Tobi with his O-Katana at the Uchiha's throat, leaving everyone in the room in shock. When Naruto moved, a trail of light followed, revealing that this was not his father's yellow flash technique, but his own crimson flash, signaling the revival of the feared Hiraishin no Jutsu within Konoha's ranks. After Tobi and Sasuke withdrew, the other Kages, along with Mifune, concurred with Tsunade's strategy after witnessing Naruto effortlessly handle the two most formidable members of Akatsuki. Both Kumo and Iwa had experienced significant losses due to Minato, and neither wanted to face his renowned jutsu, now powered by a Baijuu. Despite the advantage the allied shinobi forces seemed to have thanks to Naruto, the unexpected happened. Naruto was captured, leaving everyone in disbelief. Yet, when they saw his signature fox-like grin as he was taken, they couldn't help but laugh, recognizing his typical defiance. Instead of Akatsuki's sealing jutsu capturing the Kyuubi's soul and power, it absorbed Naruto himself, giving the kitsune within him control. The fox, now free, unleashed devastating attacks, obliterating a large portion of the Zetsu forces with a combined Baijuu Dama and Hiraishin. This reignited the allied shinobi forces, who fought back with renewed energy. Although Tobi attempted to turn the tide by reviving several legendary figures and former Jinchuriki through the impure resurrection jutsu, they were swiftly dealt with by current legends like Kakashi, the Kages, Sasuke, and the liberated Kyuubi. Meanwhile, Naruto focused on separating the incomplete Kyuubi residing within the Geto Mazu statue. Using his deep knowledge of sealing techniques, he successfully freed the Baijuu trapped within. The emergence of the 9 Baijuu signaled the end for Tobi and his plan. Even after reviving Madara, it became clear that the Uchiha elder could not contend against the combined might of the 9 Baijuu, the 5 Kages, and Naruto, the true heir of the Rikadu Sennin. Both Tobi, later revealed as Obito, and Madara were decisively defeated. Their destruction, along with part of Hai no Kuni, was brought about by Naruto and the Kyuubi's combined Baijuu Resen Shuriken no Jutsu. With the remaining Zetsu forces wiped out, Kabuto and Orochimaru met a similar fate, at the hands of Naruto and Sasuke. Peace finally descended upon the elemental nations. Tsunade retired from her position as Hokage, to the surprise of many, and named Kakashi as the 6th Hokage. She admitted that Naruto had been her first choice, but he had declined the role. Naruto, having achieved the dreams of his parents and godfather, found that peace did not suit him. Even after becoming a full-fledged sage, harmonizing with nature, and absorbing the Kyuubi's power, his thirst for battle had only grown. A life of constant conflict had become his norm. With his mastery of Senjutsu, Fuinjutsu, and his connection with the Baijuu, Naruto left his world behind in search of new adventures. This brought him to his current position, standing atop a rooftop at night, gazing out at the city sprawled below. The damage to nature saddened him, but he soon discovered a nearby park. By tapping into his connection with nature, he quickly learned about his new surroundings. In a mere 10 minutes, Naruto realized he was in Japan, fortunate that the local language was akin to his own, and learned of the existence of devils, angels, and the true God. Such revelations didn't surprise him, given that he had housed a force of nature within him for 17 years. The real question that lingered was what he had now become. However, before he could dwell further, his stomach grumbled loudly, breaking his concentration. Wonder if this place has any ramen, he mused. And so, Naruto set off into this new world, doing what he always did best, being himself. What impact would Naruto have in this unfamiliar realm? Time would tell. Naruto spent his initial days in the new world acclimating to modern advancements such as cars, cell phones, and other contemporary technologies. While learning about these innovations was one thing, engaging with them firsthand was a completely different experience. Despite this, he adapted smoothly. Utilizing his henge and kage bunshin techniques, Naruto amassed a considerable amount of money, which he used to purchase a spacious home. He then surrounded the property with numerous plants. Although he had grown accustomed to this modern world, His roots as a Konoha shinobi and a sage still defined him, and being close to nature was essential for him to feel truly at home. During his first few weeks in this new environment, Naruto encountered various devils and angels who roamed the city. His sensory abilities, granted by his Uzumaki lineage and sage training, enabled him to detect different beings nearby. Although not as refined as Sasuke's teammate Karen, who he suspected was also an Uzumaki, his abilities were sufficient to distinguish these supernatural entities. The energies of devils and angels were markedly distinct from those of ordinary humans, making them easier to identify amidst the city's crowds. What intrigued Naruto most were the complex interactions between the two opposing factions. While the mutual disdain between the two races did not surprise him, it was the tension that arose during encounters, an unspoken ceasefire that seemed fragile at best, that captured his attention. His curiosity deepened when he observed a group of angels whose energy appeared more akin to that of devils, and when he noticed the presence of various other creatures. Naruto began to question the history of this world. What events had led to such a unique evolution, and why did these other factions have such a strong presence? In his own world, the existence of the Baiju and a few demons was common knowledge, but with humans mastering chakra, demons had become little more than myths. However, in this world, it seemed humans occupied a lower place on the food chain, perhaps explaining why more powerful beings like devils, angels, and others flourished. Despite the intrigue, Naruto still sought definitive answers. He doubted that either devils or angels would readily share their knowledge, given the secrecy they maintained about humans. Naruto, while not entirely human himself, was neither a devil nor an angel, leaving him no straightforward path to information. Adhering to his shinobi instincts, Naruto resorted to his own methods. He waited patiently and eventually intercepted a devil attempting to attack a human. The devil was swiftly subdued using seals, allowing the terrified human to escape. Although the devil refused to cooperate, Naruto employed a jutsu designed for such situations, a modified version of the Yamanaka clan's mind jutsu. While the technique risked leaving the victim's mind in tatters, Naruto was unbothered by this, especially considering the devil's willingness to prey on humans. Through this technique, Naruto learned about the fallen Dark Angels and the Great War between the three factions, devils, angels, and fallen angels, which resulted in the tenuous ceasefire that persisted. He also uncovered the reason behind the high number of devils, the evil peace system. This system allowed devils to reincarnate humans and other beings through the use of devil-powered chess pieces, binding them to a king and creating a peerage. Naruto wondered whether angels and fallen angels had implemented similar systems to bolster their numbers. Despite gaining valuable insights, he couldn't help but feel disillusioned. It seemed war was an unavoidable constant across all worlds. He understood, even if he didn't agree with, the rationale behind figures like Obito and Madara and their desire to impose the Moon Eye Plan. Living the life of a Jinchuriki had exposed him to the darkest aspects of humanity from birth, and those experiences had left their mark on him well into adulthood. While he was glad peace had finally come to his home, a part of him remained cynical, disturbed every time he witnessed the carefree smiles of those who had never known true suffering. He had sacrificed his blood, sweat, tears, and innocence for those individuals who were the very source of his traumatic childhood. Despite having saved them twice at the peril of his own life, these same people would have betrayed him to the Akatsuki if it meant preserving their own safety. Though they now celebrated him as their hero, a nagging voice in the recesses of his mind incessantly reminded him that had he failed, he would have been vilified and scapegoated for the world's ruin. Reluctant to linger on such dismal thoughts, Naruto incinerated the remains of the long-deceased devil using a minor katen jutsu and resolved to return home. As he exited the alley where he had confronted the demon, he sensed three pairs of eyes observing him, one belonging to a devil, another to an angel, and the last to a fallen angel. The latter two emanated immense power that, despite their attempts at concealment, was palpable. The fallen angel's strength overshadowed that of the angel. The devil, though young, still exuded a notable potency. Seizing the moment for amusement, Naruto glanced up toward their hiding place and waved enthusiastically, a broad grin stretching across his face. "Hello there." He inwardly chuckled as he felt the surprise radiating from all three figures. "You know, it's rather impolite to stalk someone. I believe that's actually illegal. He quipped before vanishing in a flash of crimson light, leaving only his foxy smile in his wake. I didn't sense anything from him. At all. Echoed the thoughts of the three concealed figures. One was a stunning crimson-haired teenager, elegantly dressed in what appeared to be a school uniform. The second was a dapper man with blonde bangs, while the rest of his short, disheveled hair was black. The last was a striking blonde man clad in a simple white robe adorned with gold trimmings. A few weeks later, Naruto found solace in the tranquility of the neighborhood park. He had begun to frequent this serene location at night, as it was one of the few places, aside from his home, that offered a natural environment conducive to his meditation. However, his usual practice was interrupted today by the presence of three distinct energy signatures. One signature was reminiscent of his previous encounter with a rogue devil, while the other two belonged to a fallen angel and a human endowed with an unusual power. Although none of them exhibited strength sufficient for a challenging workout, Naruto decided to observe rather than intervene. He soon realized that his meditation would be further disrupted as the fallen angel unleashed her energy into the atmosphere. Though this power was far from the formidable forces he was accustomed to, it was still enough to be irritating. With a resigned sigh, he ran his fingers through his long crimson hair and moved closer to investigate the commotion. Naruto watched with keen interest as the fallen angel attempted to impale the human with her corrupted light powers. What intrigued him even more was the devil, who merely stood by and watched the unfolding events. His curiosity heightened as the fallen angel ultimately succeeded in skewering the human, prompting the devil to intervene on the human's behalf. While the prospect of the human's death was not particularly shocking to Naruto, given his extensive exposure to mortality and his own role in it, what truly captured his attention was the devil herself. To put it plainly, she was stunning. She appeared to be around his age, possibly a few years older, with curves that could rival those of Tsunade. I suppose being a devil has its advantages, Naruto mused as he scrutinized the striking devil. What stood out to him was her vibrant red hair. He suspected it might be linked to his own Uzumaki heritage, but he had always found red-haired girls particularly attractive. His attention was drawn back to the confrontation as he overheard the two females exchanging heated words, with the devil asserting her claim over the territory. In a fit of rage, the fallen angel summoned another light spear and launched it at the red-haired beauty. Though he recognized that the devil could more than defend herself, a part of him relished the idea of playing the hero. In an instant, with a flash of crimson energy, Naruto vanished from his spot. In a split second, Rias had been poised to defend herself against the fallen angel, ready to demonstrate why one should never provoke a member of the Gremory family. Suddenly, the red-haired boy from a few weeks prior appeared before her, effortlessly halting the light spear with his index finger while his other hand rested casually in his pants pocket. While I'm not opposed to violence, I strongly disapprove of unnecessary violence, especially when it involves such a beautiful girl, he stated, nonchalantly redirecting the light spear into the ground, where it promptly disintegrated. He can't be a devil if he can touch a light spear without pain. Is he an angel or perhaps another fallen? But why would he save me? He must know what I am, Rias pondered while still kneeling in astonishment. Her thoughts were interrupted as the fallen angel, visibly irked, summoned another light spear and charged at Naruto. Without even breaking a sweat, he simply leaned to the side and raised his foot to meet the fallen angel's face. In a mere instant, the tainted angel found herself unceremoniously kissing the sole of Naruto's sandal. He had exerted minimal effort, merely reinforcing his position as if he were a dark angel colliding with a concrete wall. With another sigh and his hands still in his pockets, he pivoted and delivered a kick to the fallen with sufficient force to propel her through several trees. To him, it was little more than a gentle nudge. Tsunade could likely achieve the same feat with just a flick of her finger. He then turned to the kneeling redhead behind him. I know you could have managed her on your own, but I found myself a bit bored just watching. Apologies for the interruption. I'll be on my way now, he said, starting to walk away. I'm sorry, but who are you? The inquisitive Rias asked. If he was human, she considered the possibility of inviting him into her peerage. If he possessed such strength as a human, he could potentially ascend to nearly ultimate class and become a significant asset to her group. Naruto turned his head, a confident smile gracing his face as he proclaimed, "Naruto Namikaze Uzumaki at your service, milady." Rias felt a warm blush creep across her cheeks, captivated by both the formal introduction and the charming grin that had an inexplicable effect on her. She nodded in acknowledgement, replying, "Rias Gremory." "It's a pleasure to meet you, Rias Gremory," Naruto said, adopting a flirtatious tone. "However, as much as I would love to linger and become acquainted with someone as enchanting as yourself, I must take my leave." With that, before Rias could respond, he vanished in a flash of crimson. "Ara, who was that charming young man, Buku?" inquired Akeno, a curious teen with lustrous blue-black hair, who had emerged from a magic circle just behind Rias. "Someone who could prove to be quite advantageous for my peerage, Akeno," Rias replied, still lost in thought. She realized that Naruto possessed immense power, far greater than he had revealed. The mere glimpse of his energy had been staggering, suggesting he might already be on par with the ultimate class. Akeno gestured toward Issei, the human Rias had resurrected as one of her pawns. Ara, what about Issei-san, Buku?" "Oh, him? Just return him to his home. He'll be fine, and we can have Kiba bring him to us tomorrow at school," Rias responded, waving her hand dismissively. While she was intrigued by Issei's sacred gear, her interest was undeniably drawn more toward Naruto. "This is peculiar, to say the least," Naruto muttered to himself, his brow furrowed in contemplation. Whenever he employed the Hiraishin technique, he sensed two colossal energies for the briefest moment while navigating the in-between. In his own world, each use of the jutsu revealed an endless expanse of inky darkness. The jutsu, classified as a Jakuken, time-space, technique, functioned by manipulating the user's chakra to create a rift in the universe. Once outside the confines of the mortal realm, the user would then forge another rift leading to their intended destination. The disparity in the flow of time within this void realm often rendered the technique as instantaneous teleportation. The markers utilized by his father served as focal points for his chakra, ensuring he wouldn't lose his way between realms or accidentally materialize within a volcano on the other side of the world. However, Naruto had harnessed the unique chakra of the Uzumaki bloodline, eliminating the need for such markers. Although he still required a focal point, the density of Uzumaki chakra allowed him to replicate his mother's technique, transforming it into physical chains. By utilizing these chakra chains, he crafted a sort of handrail leading to his desired location, simply following the chains to their end. His curiosity had been ignited when he perceived the two massive energies within the void realm he traversed. Exercising his mastery over the jutsu, he created the first rift into the void but refrained from forging the second, opting to remain within the void. The nature of this world's in-between had sparked his intrigue. The scene reminded him of a description Jiraiya had once shared during their training journey, recounting an encounter with one of his spies, a Harem, courtesans, who had introduced him to a substance known as LSD. Oddly shaped, vividly colored orbs floated around him, creating an impression of infinity. The entire environment was an overwhelming blend of iridescent hues, a spectacle that would likely disorient many. He sensed two other significant sources of energy nearby, both of which were nearly on par with his own power level, if not exceeding it. An excited grin spread across his face at this realization. To attract the attention of these beings, he flared his chakra, causing the ground beneath him to crack. As he maintained his grin, he felt the two powerful energy sources rapidly converge toward him. It didn't take long for him to identify one source as a colossal red dragon. His brow arched in surprise when he noticed that the other source was a preteen dressed in a gothic Lolita outfit. The massive dragon inquired, a hint of skepticism in its voice, "What brings you here, human?" "Well, I've been searching for someone strong enough to spar with, and sensing your power made me think, why not? So here we are," the cheeky redhead replied. The dragon, known as Great Red, furrowed its brow in contemplation. It seems the gap has not disintegrated you. Interesting." However, its expression shifted to one of scrutiny as it sensed the magnitude of power emanating from this human. The boy wasn't exerting himself, yet the sheer amount of energy radiating from him was substantial, rivaling the total energy of many high-ranking devils. You are no ordinary human, are you? I cannot detect the presence of either a devil or an angel in you. What are you? No human could possess such strength. Naruto smirked as he assumed the initial stance of his Otomono no Shikata, way of the Joker. By relaxing all the muscles in his body, he prepared himself for any attack his opponent might launch, while concealing his own intentions. Nothing special, just a wandering sage, Naruto replied with a grin. A sage? I've never encountered one quite like you, but you pique my curiosity. Very well, let us spar. Great Red unleashed a thunderous roar, signaling his readiness for battle. Office was taken aback, realizing that Red intended to take the teenager seriously. What intrigued her further was her unshakable belief that this sage possessed the potential to match Red's power. Whether he could secure victory was another matter entirely. It typically required the combined strength of the 4 Satans or the 4 Seraphs to challenge either her or Great Red meaningfully, and even then, they would only need to exert a fraction of their true capabilities. This being was a puzzle. While he appeared largely human, he emanated an aura of power that effortlessly rivaled her own and Great Red's. Let's see just how formidable you truly are, Mr. Sage, she mused. Fortunately, they found themselves in an endless void, free from concerns about collateral damage or civilian involvement, allowing her to unleash her full strength. Naruto, too, recognized the unique opportunity at hand. Normally, he had to restrain much of his power to avoid harming others with the vast amounts of nature chakra and pure chakra that naturally radiated from him. I'll take the lead, he declared confidently. Futon, Odama Resen Shuriken. With a mere thought, his signature technique coalesced in his right hand, dwarfing him in size. He launched the colossal wind-infused shuriken toward Great Red, tearing apart the ground beneath it as it hurtled toward its target. Thank you for listening the first segment. I hope you found it engaging. Please like, share, and subscribe. Best regards. Anime Dreams.